America was founded by the 6, the 9, and the 7, rather. And I'm not perfect, but listen to what I say. 1997. In the 90s, there was one 7, and there's a bunch of 9s pushing people around. Thus the war. The true 7, for whatever reason, and I promise you it was not planned by me, but perhaps by my parents in secret societies. Perhaps in the name of making me a 9, or getting me to see that I'm a true 7 within the 9. I don't know. But if they're doing it that way, these people are a lot smarter than you think they are. And no, I don't think that's what's going on. This symbolizes the difference between a symbol and an idol is the Bible being a symbol of God's love. And if somebody worships the symbols on here from a materialistic perspective, it is an idol. Materialism, get big and strong. Okay? I felt the need to be like Tookie because I was brainwashed by the 9 to be big and strong. The truth is in the strong and power. But how do you get it? Look at my eyes. And look at them now. Yes. At that point, I had my Anakin Skywalker phase, which is typical of the average Igbo who speaks Ebonics. And now I have that enlightened kind of older African wise man with a stick, and we'll get into that. And the older African and the older African woman both agree the older African man is in charge. And the older woman knows that she's supposed to weigh in and have certain rights as well. And this is part of what caused the women's war in Nigeria. However, the man is the head, and we all know that. So you have the wolf, he's being raised, reared, conditioned, and trained in a warfare, spirit-related way to prepare for battle, like a Spartan or something, or a Trojan, in the image and the spirit of his people, with the Sphinx misrepresented in the European fashion. And no one in the ancient world misunderstood that, and they knew that you had to have heart to admit that you were from these guys' temple if you were in Europe or Rome. Okay? So these guys were the black kind of guys who were smaller, a bit strong, but not as strong and thick as the other guys. And they used spirit to overwhelm them. And that's how they beat 10 men at once. They were worth 10 men plus at once in the Battle of Kadesh because they fought with spirit. This symbolizes I have love for this country and their perspective, but I am right. This symbolizes where I'm from and nothing more. It is a symbol of where I'm from. White is a symbol of light temple, black imperfection. I am not just saying this, and even though I haven't worked out today, I'll show you a few tattoos if you want. I'll just tell you, you have golden horse symbolizing I'm the top martial artist, and I've known it for a long time. You have the scars on my body when I was stabbed as a young person dodging, using transferable skills in actual real time. I have Africa with the region I'm from, Biafra, where the light temple's from, and the Biafran flag, which is up here, the sun rising, and it's the reason why Marcus Garvey made this flag, and Igbos followed suit and made the colors. But the colors really symbolize the African spirit of 3. And 777 versus 666, 999, and how the 6 and the 9 have detestable sex, as in Genesis, that makes the 7 mad. And you see in Genesis, it says flat out, at one point, a suitable helper, right? Genesis 1:27, for example. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him, male and female. It was a natural creation. So the argument of the Bible is that God gave man a suitable helper and gave man dominion over the entire earth, spiritual dominion. And he used that same spirit in his martial arts to defeat other people. And the jealous guys who believed the same thing and wanted you to be, to see it a different way, somehow took over here, whether they were the founders or not. I'll leave it up to them to be honest about. Okay? And that's, there's ninjutsu versus samurai, and, what the mangoes wings, the samurais probably were loyal to us at one point, and they changed it to make it seem like they weren't. And, but I'll let them tell their own story. Samurai, Chaldea, goes back to the Jews, the judges, the kings, the numbers, the mysteries in the Bible that tells the story of the spirit of African warriors who accept who they are, having heart, versus the spirit of the materialistic guys who left because they couldn't cope and they were being laughed at. So they started laughing back and acting a fool while they're doing it, drugging people, acting insane, and you can see it in their people today in their eyes, like you can see it in my eyes. I'm kind of like Anakin Skywalker, and they're gonna kill me. Look at my eyes. Okay, I'm like, look, I have the spirit of hatred and materialism, yet I'm the voice of reason because I really want to be who I am now. But women are fucking with my head so much. I'm breaking, I carved a broken heart and I went to CEDU Reform School. They're messing with my head, so this is after, or at least around the time, I'm not sure exactly, it was around that time I went to CEDU. And what is in the background? Cult, ideology, dogma. Therefore, my dad was discussing these things with me, and lo and behold, I end up in the Masonic structure, MK Ultra, CIA doctor structure. Around the time I prove that I am the golden horse beyond any doubt, and everyone is bragging about how great I am. And white people, my master says to me, that at the time, after I became greater than he is over time, because of bravery and the Igbo tradition versus the Korean tradition, and that's another part of this problem. You must stick to the Igbo tradition first and only examine other philosophies. You must not come to their philosophy. You must stay Christian. Okay, so I became the grand champion, and I was a gold belt at the time. So I, and eventually, worked my way up, and I gave myself an honorary black belt and got a many meters to concede, and that threw fuel on the fire when I announced that on YouTube. You starting to see what happened? So they were drugging me with science, and their inability to use their philosophy is landed them in the abyss, because up is down and down is up. When the white man confuses you about things, that's the main thing he wants to confuse you about. That's why southern Egypt is actually upper Egypt, because the Nile flows up in the natural drift of knowledge from the heart. And then you look at the blue and white Nile, right? The blue, white, and red symbolize the triangle that the devil wants to lie to you about, which is actually Haru, because he is actually a hare, like Yoda. In his pure form, he's a little man with heart who doesn't want to hurt anyone. As he's evolving and he understands the views of the other animals, and the most noble representation of them being the falcon or the hawk, and the leopard, because the leopard is very wise and he travels over a long distance, giving him the distance and the view of the ground. Why this guy has the view of the air. Okay, and they come together, in different embodiments, and one is Horus. You follow me? So Horus has these other attributes because there's commonalities. And part of these commonalities include the spirit of God, which is shown through martial arts imitating the spirit of noble creatures, which is part of our view. We used to be standing in Egypt. I'm just going to use any sword to exemplify my point. This one. Okay? We used to be standing in Egypt like, step forth! Okay? Now, how many of you had the heart to say to me and a bunch of huge, intense black guys, well, how you feel about our religion? And the guys across the way felt the same way. And they misunderstood the Obi essence, the culture of Igbo and other Africans that gave you the pre-dynastic Egyptian culture. And you see Ethiopians, Angolans, and we all have our perspective. You go there with them, matchmaker, eugenics, controlling the cattle. Where do the cattle go? You get this land. What happened in the Bible? Egypt is the land and the people. Ham begot these people. They were the names represent the land. They symbolize the land and the people. This is the spirit of fighting and protecting people versus the spirit of harming people out of jealousy and justifying it any stupid way, saying it isn't fair. So I'm going to end this by destroying not only the cross of the lying harlot, a Babylonian church of Japheth, and every form it has taken by what I've said and everything else, but showing you the difference between the guys who gave you this, which was eventually sold on Amazon, showing that they have a certain influence on our society, and the guys who gave you this. Okay, look at the difference between the swords. These are part of their works. They forged a sword. Jesus came to bring a sword. So the guys who wear this one are the communists, even to this day to a certain degree. And they gave you the Chinese Kung Fu, right? And who did America side with? The Masons, humanism with an E, Masonry, the Bolsheviks, the Jacobins. All men are created equal, separates church from state. The commonalities with communism, Hellenization, androgynous combination, fusing, infused, the devil injecting the poison and said, I'm going to give you the black and the white, and let's settle this once and for all, regardless who's right, because we have to bring order to the five, the realm of man. And we do not want to interfere with either the realm of man or the realm of God, so we can see there's something going on. There's a spiritual aspect, and we're studying it together. But the people in charge have been cheating all along. As the Bible says, we do not compromise with the 6 and the 9. I'm sorry for speaking fast. 10 minutes is almost gone, so let me wrap this up. Neither of them are wrong or right. Both of them are right and wrong. Both desire the other side, and they don't know where the light is. The light is with the people. The Chinese is right, is also with the order. The order is not what you think it is. Read your Bible. It is Ham and Shem. Okay, do we need to smack you mini-me's around for another 400 years with violent knocking and kicking? Or can we advance to light contact and accept the order, which is now the rib? Not R1B, which was not symbolic of who King Tut actually was, but the white man's propaganda being forced by the traitors, the wolves, the jackals, the evil ones, the bulls, okay? All the enemies of God, the detestable, unclean animals, and the spirit therein of Babylon, which is what they symbolize. And the scarlet is Judah, the elite forces of Judah. Google it. Okay, and there are the 6, 9, and 7 everywhere. Numerology, numbers. Read the Bible in terms of numbers. Look for key scriptures like 1 Peter 5:8. The devil is a roaring lion. Why? Because if he's a bad guy, silence! If he's a good guy, Herod! They're both lions with hearts. Look, I'm not backing down. I'm not backing down. The people are like, look, just the scribes like scared. The pen's going like this. Why? Because they've watched and recorded. And so there's a relationship with the priesthoods and the scribes and the architects and the masons, and they meet halfway sometimes, and sometimes you concede Herod's point, not Herod's point, Herod, Herod, or Haru, his rod, her brew, or his brew, witch's brew, or man's brew. Man is first, the biblical patriarchs, and our spirit through our nature shows our superior focus, mind, body, and soul, intellectual acuity, physical prowess, the ability to focus. Now, speaking of physical prowess, let us end this video in a different state of mind and see if I can achieve closer to God's speed without being drugged quite as heavily in this state of mind of righteous indignation with this look in my eyes and not the look in the eyes that these people seek to give me now that they have bowed down to the 6 and the 9. Hey! Haru, Ebo, Hebrew, not evil, Lord, Hebrew, Haru, da, 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 da. Are we clear? Spirit over flesh, I am the best, and no, I will not give up to my title. I am titled by God, Abraham. That's where you got to go. That's where Abraham, Joseph, and all them went to learn from people like me to focus and be proper leaders. And then we came together naturally as Ham and Shem in the heart of Africa, the heart of man, Igbo. Africa's a gun, Igbo. West Africa. Look at the map. Where is Biafra? Southeast Africa. In Africa, south is south. South is upper. Upper Nigeria is Biafra. And that's where America helped build their infrastructure, knowing that we were right. And now it's time to concede our point in every way, not just on TV. King Tut is not the rib of the white man. That is a code for red, white, and blue. And one world order. W1 or W for white, either way you look at it. Japheth. White skin, white flesh, white material as the building block. Masons focus on the material disproportionately because the Romans push them around with the Vikings and the Jews and all these other racist white gangs and organizations. I don't mean to disrespect any of you. This is how it is. You can choose to be scared. You can say that I'm rocking the boat and I'm helping them order 66, everyone. You can consider all this like I do and man up with heart. It's up to you. Are you a 6, 9, or a 7 telling them, Herod, you're wrong? And guess what, Herod? I am going to say that you're wrong. You and all your cronies. And I'm the top martial artist. I'm with the people. The Japanese are wrong about the order. The Chinese are wrong about whether there should be an order. And it has to do with white denial and their flesh-worshipping philosophy. There you have it. Give me my place. Unless any of you can come up with a superior argument as I wrap this up. Okay, 2 7s, 14. Before I wrap it up to 15, let's see if I can do it. 15 hits for 1.2 seconds with karate boxing gloves. These hands dehydrated, fumed, drugged. 84-inch boxing range approximately. Harassed, gang-stalked, and everything else it entailed, including heavy mind control operations since I got this trophy. Thank you, 7.